22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
And are not afraid to say it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are tuned into Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show, episode 310. We've been giving you that real talk since 2014. We are approaching our 7-year anniversary of this radio show, our 7-year anniversary of Black Westchester Magazine, and the 4-year anniversary of the newspaper. So as you see, the paper will be out this week. We have a double anniversary issue. The first one comes out Friday. The next one comes out April 20th. We're celebrating 7 years of giving you the news with the Black point of view. Now, Bob is on 2 boxes, and I got to see which one. Is this the right one? Bob, speak. Are you there? Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay, Bob, you're not on camera. I need to know which one.
The other one, AJ.
Okay, there we go. I got my shout out to my partner in crime, Damon K. Jones. He's not here today. And shout out to Lorriane Lopez, the co-host. She's not here today, but I do have my brother from another who just celebrated his birthday, Robert Baskerville, a.k.a. Dr. Bob, a.k.a. Brooklyn Bob. Yo, speak. I'm not sure which. You have 2 boxes. We can't hear you on that one. And you don't have no camera on the other one. Okay, I need you to let me know which one we're doing, Bob.
You can hear me now?
I can hear. Say it. Keep talking. I can only hear you when I put this one up.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, that one.
That's fine, AJ. Actually,
you have
I'm having some technical difficulties, brother. I can't get my
okay
on my.
All right, so we just have an extra box. So, what's up, my brother? You just celebrated you, Damon. Shout out to you, Damon Jones and Tasha Young. Y'all each just celebrated a birthday in the last week. What you been up to, my brother?
Well, I mean, thank you for the happy birthday wish, AJ. And also, I'd like to join you and extend a happy birthday wish to DK, Damon Jones, the publisher of Black Westchester, and Tasha Young, who's a friend of the show and a dear comrade. Listen, I just been finishing up the end of the semester. We ended last week, and just out here trying to do what we gotta do, man. That's about it. Nothing bigger than that.
No doubt.
I should say, AJ, one thing that I have been doing that I would like to mention is preparing for a library series that we've been working on. We're anticipating the launch of a library series in partnership with the Mount Vernon Library called The Cipher. It's going to kick off on August 26th at 6 p.m. We'll be featuring the author of the 2-volume biography of Hubert H. Harrison, who's a Black radical, important Black radical, but relatively unknown. who is known as the father of Black radicalism and the Black Socrates of Harlem. I should mention to our audience that the second volume in the 2-volume series was nominated by the publisher, Columbia University, for a Pulitzer Prize. And this has a close connection to Mount Vernon. Actually, as I was mentioning to you the other day when I was at your crib, Harrison actually lived on 7th Avenue for a little minute.
Right, a block away from where I live now. That's what's up.
Yes. So that's one of the things I've been working on, and in partnership with a number of other mainstays of the organizing community in Mount Vernon, including Brother Jeff, Sister Delia Farquharson, Councilwoman, has also been collaborating on this with us, amongst others, of course, the personnel from the library, including Director Davis and Kathy Webb, who I believe is the community outreach coordinator. So that's the main thing,
No doubt. So now, the name of the show is called People Before Politics. And we just had an election season, so we've been bombarding you with politics. And today we want to get back to the people. So Dr. Bob scheduled this show. I'm going to allow him to introduce our guest of the evening.
So yes, tonight, everyone, it's an immense pleasure for me to introduce to our audience 2 brothers who have been a constant presence in my life, who are going to talk with us about an important generational experience that many, though not all of us in the city of Mount Vernon and cities throughout the Black community here in the United States underwent during the course of our lives, specifically, the hustle on the streets and, the drug game. Our guests are my longtime friend, Ricardo Kasheem Gunn, and Clarence Divine Maclin, I believe. I hope I'm pronouncing Divine's last name properly. Divine, did I get it right? And your mic is off, Divine.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Peace. Now, Cypher, my name is Maclin. Clarence Maclin.
Forgive me, brother. We don't really deal with the government, so you're going to forgive me. It's not too often.
You got the divine part right. That's good enough.
Yeah, that's the most important. Okay. So, to begin with, everyone, I want to say that our lives the life of Kasheem and Divine have intersected with my own, going back several decades here in Mount Vernon. Kasheem I've known since a child. We attended Sacred Heart School together, probably starting about the 2nd, 3rd grade, somewhere in that. So I've known Kasheem since about the age of 8. He has literally been one of my day ones. I'm a true brother. Almost every important episode in my life I've gone through with him. And Divine, I've known since about the age of 17. When once again, my personal experiences and the experience of my family intersected together. As these brothers know, and our audience doesn't know too well, I spent some years in the streets, certainly not to the extent that they have, but surely I was out there in the streets. And just as importantly, my brothers also, who are no longer with us, Frank, Rashawn Rames, and Parish Unique Rain, both who passed away many years ago. And so I have to say, just so the audience is clear, this is a very touching conversation, especially to have on air. There's no way that I could talk to you all about what happened with us also, being aware of my brothers and their absence. They've always been, an absent presence for me and for the rest of my family.
Let me just say real quick too. I'm sorry to interrupt you. So in addition to streaming live on Facebook, which is on my page and shared to all Black Westchester pages, and anybody can share it to their page. And in addition to streaming live on the Black Westchester YouTube channel, today is the first day we are also streaming from the Black Westchester LinkedIn page.
Okay.
You know, now we on LinkedIn, and Brooke told me, you know, you don't really be on social media, Divine, but you on LinkedIn. So I made
I'm on LinkedIn. I don't do social media.
Right. I made sure that, you know, they extended the reach to LinkedIn, and I set that up yesterday. So
yeah, I appreciate that.
We broadcasting on LinkedIn, and I tagged you, so everybody can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn now. So, Divine, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then you to my brother Kasheem.
All right. You know, my name is Clarence Maclin, better known as Divine. I Bill, God of Law, out there in them streets. They call me the God right presently. However, you know, I grew up in Mount Vernon for the most part, you know, did most of the things that's being done out there now to an even greater extent and level. So those are not the things I really want to take pride in talking about. That's the first thing I want to say by getting on this platform. I want to say me and these brothers, Bobby, my brother Kasheem, we was in the streets a long time. And when we talk about the past, it may, through our passion, I don't want my passion for this conversation or to be a survivor. I'm passionate about the things I've been through. I don't want that to be misconstrued and to think that I'm glorifying a lifestyle that I no longer live, that I really don't have no passion for. You know, I don't want that to get misconstrued. To be a survivor means that we do have things that we have a past that we have to acknowledge. You know what I'm saying? There's pain, there's joy, there's love, there's a lot in that past. And we acknowledge it all. Let me just say that first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? And in dealing with the role that art played a vital role in my character early on. Early on, art played a vital role. When I found out that I could draw, you know, it was a revelation. Those that know me, that went to school with me, Bobby, Kasheem, and many more that's listening right now.
Yeah, we was in school together too. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you was there with us too.
Yeah.
You know, you never ever saw me on no basketball team, football team, baseball team. Wasn't my thing. I was into art. I drew from Miss Cohen's class in high school.
I was in Miss Cohen's class.
You know, that was my thing. So that's
I had Miss Beckworth.
Okay, you're a little younger than me.
Yeah. Miss Beckworth.
Well,
yeah, but from then art played a role in my life.
Well, we're going to have an opportunity to talk about the role that art has played in the transformation of both of your lives, because you have an incredible story of self-transformation. And like you said, the reason that you're on air is really to share the jewel with a younger generation, because in retrospect, as we've reached a certain level of manhood, I think we've all recognized, in fact, the errors of our ways and our youthful indiscretions, if you will, transgressions, perhaps even. But we're going to come back to that. But I want to just establish first.
Okay, I get it.
I mean, I just wanted people to know, firstly, how much time did you do? Because I think that's important.
All right.
When people try to put into perspective the conversation that we're going to have now, especially any of the younger brothers and sisters who are watching, you know, to understand that, you know, y'all have really earned your stripes, so to speak.
Okay. Listen, coming up in Mount Vernon, man, it seemed like to me everybody had to earn stripes. It's unfortunate that I had to do more time than many others, like me and my brothers. Our generation, we got at least about 1,000 years given away to these people, you know, that we willingly gave our lives and our substance to them, you know what I mean? But during the course of growing up, man, we don't know those things. We think that, you know, being rebellious towards society, we have more like a Robin Hood type of vision of what we were doing. Like as long as we taking care of ours, what we could justify pretty much anything, you know, as long as we putting bread on our table and our babies are fed, we could justify pretty much anything. I was not really much of a drug dealer back in those days, if you remember. Your brothers was more the dudes that did that right there. Me, I was about taking that money. I was into that gunplay. I was violent, 100% violent. I ain't got time to stand in the corner and sell nobody drugs. I'm not doing that. I'm coming through and taking that bag. That's what I'm doing. So that's how I grew up. I didn't grow up the drug dealer. I didn't have the patience. I need mine now.
Well, how much time?
I was.
How much time did that land you in prison?
That landed me in jail. That got me at one shot. The longest stretch was the 20 years. 20 years. Out of that, I did 17 and a half. Straight, right. No visits. I had visits, but no home visits. No right, going on. 17 and a half straight. Yeah.
Okay. Kasheem, how about you, Ka? I mean, just to set it up, you know, you could give us something about your background, and also I want people to understand that you two are a vet and that you've seen plenty of time behind the wall.
Okay, yeah. So introducing, my name is Rick Gunn. I got a lot of aliases, but Rick Gunn. First of all, Brooke, my apologies. Your birthday, happy birthday, bro.
No doubt, baby. No doubt, of course.
Now, listen, I don't think Mount Vernon, I don't even think Westchester really knows who you are, and that's important.
Yeah.
How many of us can we really look and say the title doctor to a nigga that came up off the streets? You understand what I'm saying? You know, somebody who actually
that must be Dr. Brooklyn Bob right now.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, well, I remember. You know what I mean? So we glorify and celebrate the wrong shit. Like I don't legendary for what? I don't even know shit. I was just a street nigga. You feel me? Listen, a lot of y'all hear Divine speak. And y'all listening to him and y'all hearing what he say. But y'all don't know the Divine I know. The Divine I know, he was the type of nigga want to fight you for 2 hours in the pouring rain when you want to get the fuck out of there. You understand? Right. So he about what he talking about. He ain't just stunting for the cameras and none of that. So to see his transformation is amazing to me, because I used to see him and be like, yo, he about that life for real. You understand? And I couldn't say that about a lot of people. Now, as far as I'm concerned, 18 years in prison. I did 5 years before that. Collectively, I did about 23 years of my life in prison.
Exactly.
Right now, it's like Divine said. It's strange because all the motherfuckers that I know that I can call homies, everybody has done like 10 years or better in prison. So it's a sad story when I look around and see the dudes that are my men, you know, that I really, can say I got history with. Everybody's got bad time in. So for me to sit here with you and be able to tell somebody, ain't no glory in that shit. There's a whole lot of wisdom in what the fuck I'm saying.
Right.
So, that's why.
I think it was important for both of you to have both of you brothers on, and I celebrate Brooke all the time, from where he was to what he's accomplished to now. You know what I'm saying? Like I got everybody calling him Dr. Bob now. Like everywhere he goes, Dr. Bob, because I felt like he earned that doctor. You know what I'm saying? So I try to do that. But like I said, I live on South 7th. Yo, dude, a lot of these cats out here got it twisted. They don't really know what it is. They don't understand that the only way this life is going to lead you is either the graveyard or to the jail. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't survive that. We lost a lot of brothers. Our generation ain't around no more right now. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of brothers, and they need to hear from real men, real black men who've been here before. And not only that you've been there, like Brooke, y'all have also now transcended that, and you're doing something totally different, like showing that you can survive that. Even if that was your story, that don't have to be the end of your story. You understand what I'm saying? Like for you, brother, that wasn't the end of your story. Y'all are doing crazy things right now, like amazing.
Yeah. That's a fact.
Things right now that probably nobody would have thought that back then. You probably couldn't even imagine it. And the same thing with Brooke, with teaching and stuff. So that's the type of stuff that Black Westchester like to celebrate, and bring some awareness on that whole story, because people only see one thing, and they don't really know. You know what I'm saying? So it's my pleasure to have you brothers on tonight.
Yeah, man. Like a lot of people wouldn't imagine that the journey that I took. It took for me to go to prison to find out a lot of very important things about myself, about, my ability, about my own powers, my own strengths, and my own weaknesses. It took me to go to prison to really realize, you know, what I wanted in life, who I wanted to be, and how I wanted to be this man and not the man I was or the man I thought I was, you know. Bob, the first thing I did, I got involved with the arts again. You know what I'm saying? It's a great amount of trials and tribulations from the first time art touched my life in Miss Cohen's class to the next time I really got involved doing 20 years in prison. It's a lot of things that took place in between those 2 points. However, once I got into prison and got back into the arts, picked up that pen again and started drawing, it seemed like it opened and unlocked something because I found my way to the stage. I started doing theater. I started acting. I found out the true purpose of theater is to actually heal others. The audience is meant to come be healed by the show because the show shows them that whatever you're going through in life, you're not the only one. And just whatever solution that you may have used and it didn't work, here are some other solutions that maybe you haven't tried. That's the purpose of theater for the community, for society. So once I tapped into that unlocked a certain empathy that was inside that I didn't tap into when I was in the street or my earlier years in prison, because we know in the streets that empathy thing could get you robbed. You know what I'm saying? That empathy thing, being empathetic, could be a weakness in some circumstances. You know what I mean, right, Cop?
Yeah, no, listen, I get it. Yeah. Absolutely, listen. Yeah, I get it. So here, AJ, thank you also for having us on.
Yeah, so listen, once I tapped into that, I seen that my true purpose is really to heal. My true purpose is really to come back to the community and especially to the community that I had a hand in damaging, and try to heal that community or any community like it, any population like it. If it's me guiding young people to a different direction, that seems to be my calling because I seem to have the ear to listen to them, to hear what they're saying, and I can relate to them. You know, that's a gift to me. To me, it's a gift to be able to still go on some of these corners and chop it up with the youngest. That's a gift. Many our age can't do that. You can't go out there. A lot of kids, a lot of men our age are afraid to go out there and have a conversation with the young. It's a gift for me to be able to still do that. You know?
And you know, we talk about the arts. They cut Bob, your mic's off again. I don't know what happened. We talk about the arts. One of the things they're doing in a lot of our schools right now is they're getting rid of the arts. Art. Now, I wasn't in the streets like that, and I never connected with you, Divine, on the streets.
Right.
I was Calibu, but I connected with you through art. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew you, cat that, you know, I used to be in the graffiti, and I was in.
Yeah, we all was. Me, you, Leroy
Mack, and all that. I was running with all that. So it was like it was art and hip hop that saved me from the streets, actually. Like you know, I was there for at the parties and stuff and everything. I did all the flyers for everybody back in the days. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I was nice with putting the flyers together and everything. So I did all that, but I never really was in. It was art and music that kept me out of the street, like being full-fledged in the street. You know what I'm saying? And
we had different circumstances too.
Right, and when you absolutely, and when you cut these programs, some of these art programs is the only thing keeping these kids going.
Right, man.
You know what I'm saying? The music program, right. And
everybody don't want to play basketball. Everybody don't want to do that.
Right. So we need to, you know, I push for that with these elected officials and these school board people. We need to build back up the arts and all of that in school, because that's another way of reaching our kids and teaching them another thing and something they can connect to. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
Come on, back on, because your mic was off.
Yeah. I'm switching back and forth. I'm trying to get my desktop mic on. But listen, I mean, Divine, you just mentioned the importance of circumstances. And I know from my personal experience with both you and Ka, is that all right, man?
Yeah, no, listen, bro.
You and Ka.
Listen, you hear me just saying, I don't trip on names because it's not important to me. You understand? We were defined by our names, but we left that a long time ago. You understand? Now you have to be defined by your character.
Absolutely.
So, you know, as long as you call me something of good character, we good.
Got you. You better. Y'all know what's good. But I'm curious to know, listen, because we not only have, you know, regular members of the community who are listening to us, but oftentimes we're having policymakers who are tuning in, trying to gain insights from our show. And even though now, I think y'all recognize, you know, there could have been a better way. This is not the road to travel down. We all know where this takes us. I mean, there were surely circumstances in your formative years when you all were teenagers going into early adulthood that contribute. There were background factors that contributed to the choices that you made. Just like my own. I mean, condos is especially, Devon, you know this too, that, you know, when I got on the streets, man, one of the things that was going on was a lot of turbulence in my household. And Kasheem knows this because he had to put me up a couple of times when my mom threw me out. And also my brother, spent some time too at the crib. And for me, that was one of the real background factors that led to me deciding to get out on the streets and hustle. And I'm curious to know what was going on in your early adult years, your late adolescent, early adult years, that you think now in retrospect contributed to the decisions that you made in the path that you took. And maybe so our policymakers who might be tuning in, when they're thinking about things that they could do to ensure that another generation doesn't follow our path, you know, what do you think? What are some of those background factors?
You got that one, Comp? You want me to get it?
Oh, yeah, sure, absolutely. Listen, the first thing is you have to make goals attainable.
Okay.
Right? Like, you know, to me, when we were growing up, goals weren't attainable in terms of being a lawyer, a doctor, anything that sounded even successful. It just didn't seem attainable. The route to doing it wasn't laid out to us. And that's because in doing my personal studies, I realized that most of us grew up in single parent households.
Right.
And when you grow up in a single parent household, 50% of the understanding is gone. So whatever would have been caught by one partner is just being missed. You understand? So the bridge that you crossed is only built halfway. So the other part, you got to kind of improvise and figure out how to get there. And sometimes we choose the wrong role models. So we can't change the circumstances of people growing up in single family parent households. But what we can do is we need to make goals attainable to these kids out here on the street corners, in schools. We need to show them how it's easy to become a fireman and how good and how the benefits are to becoming a fireman or to getting a city job. We need to show them how easy it is to become a carpenter, to become an electrician. That it's not really that complicated, and it actually beats doing what you're doing on the street. Look, bro, if you think about the numbers, let's do the numbers on the streets. Let's do a financial breakdown of the street game, right?
Yeah,
so,
let's break it down.
Right. We're gonna do some forensics on the streets.
Yeah.
Right? So the average street nigga don't get he ain't getting $500 a week. He's lucky if he getting $200-300 a week.
Yeah.
Think about it. The average nigga out here ain't getting no money. He just out here with his man on the corner smoking weed all day, drinking, talking shit, probably packing that toolie. You understand what I'm saying? And his man
ain't
selling.
really doing nothing.
He ain't doing nothing. So this is why these niggas is running around robbing, stealing, and doing all the other things to supplement an income they ain't got. So if you do that and understand the math, that if you're showing a kid that there's really no money in the lifestyle that you're living, and yet you're taking your life at risk every single day being out here, whereas I can show you how to get a real good job by following this trade right here. They don't even take high school. Get a GED, because that's all they need to show that you just finished some kind of formal education. You understand? Get that. Go into this program right here, and you'll be a certified electrician in 5 years, man. You'll be a licensed electrician, and you'll be making more than every dude out here on this corner, and you won't be looking over your shoulder.
Right.
Make these goals attainable, man.
Right.
So all the people that's listening that ain't playing politics, they realize they really can't do anything about it because the system is built in for them not to do shit about it. It's all a pipe dream when you're telling these politicians to change something. Because it's all rhetoric. They're just going to talk about changing it, but it's really out of their hands because they don't control the budget. And when they start talking about changing something and making it relevant in these black communities, that budget's going to change, and then they ain't going to get the money. So it's real deep. It ain't just about, okay, yo, this is why it takes activists like Devon, yourself, the brother AJ, because we got to get out in the community and fix this shit.
That's a fact.
You can't count on the people in office that then got elected to do anything because they're powerless. Once they get in office, you sold out. You answering to somebody. So cut that shit out. It's the activists that make things happen. This is why they have to come to the activists when they need something done and say, yo, I need y'all in the community, man. Can you get these dudes behind me? Because they don't know shit on their own. They don't live in these communities, man. You understand? That's why I said if Westchester was smart, you be the goddamn mayor, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Because they understand you done been shot, you done robbed, you done stole, you done did everything in these communities in Mount Vernon and Westchester. You walked
right out there with us.
Turned your life around and became a doctor. So when Mount Vernon hear you talk, they should listen because they should know you have their best interest in heart because you died, your brothers died out there, your family, your sisters out there. Listen, bro, your history speaks for itself. But like I said, getting back to the point, you can't count on politicians to do anything about the problem. And that's what we've been waiting on all these years for politicians to fix what the hell's going on. And that just muddies the waters. You got to skip that process, get straight to the community activists like Devon, yourself, brothers that can still walk these streets and go into these neighborhoods and talk to these brothers and say, yo, listen, dude, here the real facts, man. You ain't gaining nothing out here. In fact, you're just losing a life. And the nigga that killed you, right, he lost his life because he gonna end up in prison too. Yeah. It's gonna take you 20 years to figure this shit out. When you can figure it out here, and we can all live a good life. Listen. I speak facts. Me and Devon had a fight. This is how me and Devon got cool. We had a fight in the fucking projects. I ain't even gonna fight this nigga. I knew it wasn't no ducking, no wreck. So I realized we're going to have to man up. You understand? We manned up for about 5, 10, 15 minutes. I don't even know how long it is. It could have been 2 minutes. It felt like it was longer. You understand what I'm saying? We rocked out. And at the end, yo, he gave me a pound. We shook hands. And from that day on, we became brothers. You understand what I'm saying? We didn't kill each other. None of that. You understand? And here we are today, but both of us separately had to go do 20 years and 20 years to go realize the shit that we did was foolishness out here.
That's a fact. I have to come right back
I don't know how much more these young niggas gotta hear that this shit don't make no sense, the shit that they doing. You understand how many programs these niggas gotta listen to? How many Divines got no idea? How many Dr. Bobs and AJs? I'm tired of talking to these niggas. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'd rather let them purge themselves the fuck out and then we can get to the
Well, I wanted to amplify your point, Kosh, because it really is well taken that there is a certain myth of drug dealing, I think, that pervades our community is the allure, as Jay-Z said, the allure of breaking the law. And a lot of times the myth does not match the reality at all. I really hustled hard on the streets of Mount Vernon, and you summed it up right. By the time you out there and people are slaying packages and police locking you up and you got to pay for lawyers and you on the run and you ain't got no steady place over your head, so you all up in the hotels and everything, man. Listen,
you ain't got no money.
Just go get a job. Just go get a regular job. It don't add up. And I have to say, precisely because I can never glamorize the past because what we did in the past, because as I said previously, my brothers are not here. I know people remember them fondly, of course, but the many characteristics that the streets usually remember them for are not the ones that are ordinarily going to ensure anyone's survival over the long term. No. And, my brothers both got plenty of paper out on the streets of Mount Vernon, and yet, they didn't really have much to show for it. After Rasson went to jail and everything, did his 5 and came home, he was deeply depressed and despondent because he had sacrificed so much of his years, and he realized that, this shit ain't even adding up right here.
No, sir.
I
Never
think that
does.
it's important that those of us who have been there and lived that life, speak frankly, honestly, openly about what is waiting for you if you decide to get out on the streets, calling yourself doing that fast money, and not using some of the other talents, aptitudes that we really do have.
Right. That's a fact, man. One of the things I see that really took place in the streets, especially when we went to prison, the times that, a lot of real people, a lot of real good dudes left a void, and a lot of lame stepped in that void. I see a lot of dudes out on these streets right now that call themselves big homies, and they got shooters and hitters and all that. Nigga, when I was out here, none of y'all wasn't hitting nothing. Y'all niggas didn't even come outside. Now you is a big homie. It's confusing to me. However, it's not my lane. It's not what I'm doing right now. It's not what I promote. So I'm not here to snatch the rug out from under the big homie feet or nothing like that. That's not what I'm here to do. But what I would like to do is to remind all these big homies, these dudes that do have the young dudes' attention, got them right, bro. Get them where they supposed to be if you really are the big homie. If you are, because when I was younger, my big homies, what they did for me, run me off the streets. They told me, nigga, it's going down out here. Take your ass inside. That's what the big homies did for me. I ain't never had a big homie ever put a gun in my hand and tell me to go do something. We got a different perception of what big homies are today. I don't prescribe to anyone telling someone else to go put some work in. I don't prescribe to that ideology. That's nothing we grew up with. You know what I mean? I'm not glorifying, like I told you in the beginning of the show, I don't glorify the behavior that I took part in. I don't glorify it. However, out of that behavior, we had a lot of morals and principles. We had a moral compass where there were certain things that we wouldn't do. It's certain things that are unacceptable. You know what I mean? It's certain crimes against babies and old people, out of the question. That's unacceptable. We would never. Today, there's no regard for life at all. There's none. Too many innocents are getting hit. And if you think by banging at somebody, missing that individual, and killing somebody else that had nothing to do with this is gangster, you are poorly misinformed. You're misinformed.
Absolutely.
Hey, let me say something. A lot of times, right? I'm particularly speaking to the youngins right now in the streets banging. Listen, I get it. I really do. Yo, I get it.
Right.
I understand it. I understand the energy. That energy is in youth. I get it. However, I'm telling you, there is another side to this shit. There really is. You just got to make different choices. You're not being brave, banging. That shit easy. You understand? Hunting is easy. Putting the mask on, loading up, charging, that shit easy. The hard part is walking away from that shit.
Yeah.
That's what most people don't get. They think, that date side is easy. No, they don't understand that for the youth, walking away from that shit is the hard part. We've got to show them there's a way to walk away and still be relevant, because they thinking that shit is making them relevant. This is why they doing what they doing. It's like when you talking to them, you don't really, if they can't really relate to you as a nigga that did what they did, they ain't hearing you.
They don't hear you.
But by the same token, as a nigga that been there, you got to hear them too. You feel what I'm saying? Because
you
they
gotta listen.
different, but they banging. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's in the madness, there's some understanding in that shit. You understand? We look at them and say they savaging, but really and truly, if you can get into that shit, you realize they kids that's lost. and they're just looking for a way out. And so far, the way out just ain't been attractive to them, so they stay banging. You understand what I'm saying? But listen, I'm gonna tell you, get them niggas amnesty like they did in South Africa. Tell them, yo, listen, all of y'all that did what y'all did, right? We'll put together a truth commission. All of y'all out there right now running from bodies and all that shit. Come on in. That street shit, come on in, talk to us. You understand what I'm saying? We won't charge you for it, but you got to enter a program. You understand what I'm saying? But we kind of fucking help you out. You understand? Put some social services behind you and all kinds of stuff. May take 10 years out of your life. You come in and get right for what you did. But it make a big difference in all the shit that's going on now. Because I'm gonna tell you something, it's like a bull. Like that pig, when he tastes the scent of blood, it's hard to get him up off of that meat. Feel me? So you're giving him some real alternatives to make him say, all right, this is my one chance. Because I'm gonna tell you, every nigga in the game looking for a way out.
That's a fact.
Every one of them.
Nobody want to keep doing that.
No, but you can't change that face when you're still on the land.
No.
You still walking that land. I don't give a fuck how many niggas talking to you. You walking that land, you still gonna be that dude. But
you
if you
got
that dude away and speak to him personally and say, yo, I can get you out right now. You ain't gotta go back. Leave everything behind. I give you another chance. Turn it around. And if you got 3-4 dudes that you think I can get like this, talk to me. I'll pull them out. You see, if they real serious about changing this shit, they'll go in there and start cleaning these communities up the right way. Not telling niggas you're going to go to jail. You understand?
Yo,
that ain't a hard to niggas' lifestyle. But anyway, yeah.
I always said, and I've said a lot of times on this show, you know, I really, like I said, art and music kept me like kind of from the streets. But also every time I was going that way, there was older cats that got at me. I don't know what they saw in me, but they saw something in me. It was like, yo, you don't need to be out there. And they was getting me involved in all kinds of other things. I say that to say, you know, that while we talk about the kids, the youth is out of control now, it ain't the youth that's failing us, it's us that's failing them. You know what I'm saying? Either
right. That's a fact.
And all of that. And I always say that, and I get to on the adults, like, what are you doing? What are you doing to change the situation? Because there was always people, and Bob tell you, I'm always telling there was always people that got at me. You know what I'm saying? They saw me on 4th Street, they saw me at 8th Ave, they saw me, and they pulled me to the side and was like, yo, you don't need to be out here, blah, blah, blah. You could be doing this and that. And basically, I was a knucklehead, and I had to hear it a bunch of times. You know what I'm saying? And I had to have a couple of close calls before I realized that life wasn't for me. But
I've heard that said a lot of times. That ain't true for most people, for most niggas on the streets. Most of the elders I knew gave me hammers and was like, nigga, bang out.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Something different. I don't know why they saw something different in me, but they was like, yo, when I was cutting school, I tell the story. We had a security guard. Nigga came to my house. He knocked on the door. I lived on Monday Lane. He had me come out and walk down towards the laundromat. He was like, yo, you fucking up. You need to go to school. You need to stop cutting. I'm going to treat you like a man and have this conversation. Right? He said, I'm going to treat you like a man and have this conversation with you. But if I don't see you in school, next time we're having this conversation with your father. Like, you know what I'm saying? And, yo, you know what? Next day I went to school. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the key thing you said there,
my house.
Also, but listen, the key thing you said there is I'm gonna have this conversation with your father.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is what I told you. Most of us didn't come up with no father in the household. So that's why that didn't work on us. There was nobody to talk to but us. We wasn't niggas who thought we was the men in the house. So mom put the belt on your ass, but at the end of the day, you still gonna go out there and do what you do because you a lion, your nuts hang. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. These single parent households is what's producing these products.
Right.
And if you
I'm not
that
gonna say that's the only
single
thing.
family household, I mean, if you don't fix that, that's the fact. Listen,
I'm not gonna say that's the only contributing factor because every single parent household produce this. I don't think so. I think that there are some kids that come out of single parent households that do pretty well. I think that they also have the ability to divert the streets just like anybody else. But everybody have their own choices and their own factors that lead them where they are.
Okay, all right, listen to this. What you're talking about, Bob, you can relate to this. That's an outlier. The children that come out of households that are single parent and are successful, they are the outliers in our community. They're not the example. For
Right.
the most part, it's the kids that go to jail and get murdered, and all. They're the real example of the kids that's coming up without two
Right,
parents.
but I'm not doubting that. I'm not saying that's not a fact. I'm saying there's a possibility for a kid that come out of a single household to do great things too.
No, listen, but you can't embrace the outliers because they're so few and far between. That's like
giving up hope if you don't.
No, that's like saying that you got a tree that's producing one good apple every year and you celebrating that. No, that's not
we're
what
gonna take those seeds and plant them over. We're gonna take those seeds and plant them over.
Okay, hold on. Let me just finish this then, Bob. So since we're talking about that since we're talking about that seed, then we have to understand that the real tree is parents, both mother and father.
Fact.
Because it's a 50-50 process that creates that DNA.
That's a fact.
That creates that whole process of the child being born. So that's when you remove one of those from the equation, you just reduce the chance of success by 50%.
Well, let me just comment. Let me finish my statement. So my parents got divorced. My mom's moved me to Long Island when I was like 7, and my parents got divorced. I drove my mom's crazy. She said, "You're going back with your father." So I was living just with my father. You know what I'm saying? But I also had a healthy fear and respect of my father too. You know what I'm saying? So I hear what you're saying though. But it was my father just by himself, trying to do the best he could. You know what I'm saying? And I just barely escaped because there was a lot of people outside that got at me. And I'm just saying, it can't just be, we have other leaders in the community. Like a lot of people, like what Devon said, a lot of people from single parent households, they had that football coach, or they had that one person in their life. You know what I'm saying? That like their uncle or somebody who was there for them. Who you know what I'm saying? We don't have that. These kids don't have that now. They don't have nobody.
The older generation is afraid of the kids.
Right, absolutely.
You're afraid.
No, listen, it's not that. No. See, we going back and forth. No, listen. We go back and forth, and then we switching positions again. I guess
that's what makes the show good.
Right, listen. No, we can't absolve these kids from any responsibility. No, they got a lot of options.
Yes.
Here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
These kids today?
There's not as many options as we had, though.
They got They got options. Listen, there's so many places hiring right now. They're giving bonuses and incentives to come in. They might even ask you if you ain't got an ID. Just give me a social security number so I can pay.
We're gonna get you one. Hey, but listen, I'm saying I get that too. That's a valid point. That's definitely a fact. Because as I said earlier, I'm out in these streets now. And I was out there earlier. I'm in the hood regular. I'm regularly in, not just only Mount Vernon hood, Yonkers hood. You might find me in a Harlem hood. I'm in the hood regular. And all our kids are not disaster stories. All our kids all our kids are not out here doing into all the every kid you see that may have the appearance of someone you may consider a banger, that may be a college student.
Right.
It may be.
All right,
you know what I'm saying? But if you never had that conversation with him, off eyesight, you're going to generalize and say he's banging.
Nah, but I'm saying, listen.
Not you, God. I'm saying, but
no, I don't know. But I'm saying, Devon. I'm saying, listen.
Outside looking in, yeah.
Here's what I'm saying. We setting the bar too low when we tell these kids that they can dress like that if they ain't doing that shit.
Right.
Don't dress like that, bro. That ain't
I don't like
your lifestyle. You know what comes with that shit, and you know that the image that is portraying. So when a nigga see you doing it, even though you're an A student and he pop on you, it's because you gave the aura of a motherfucker that's doing that. So we have to change the narrative that
agree with
that. Sexy. You understand that?
Listen,
all right.
That's a totally different. That's a different conversation.
Right. One of our listeners, Latanya Baptiste Young, she said about the point of view y'all making. She said it's both and not either or. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like it's both and not either or. Like all of these things are contributing to it. It's not this or that. It's
right. It's all of it.
Okay, it's a combination, but I want to say this. There's a multiplicity of factors that intersect. And for each of us, we may be able to highlight one or several of them. But I think one of the purposes of the show is for us to reflect collectively, especially as men. Older men, try to pass on jewels to the younger generation. And one thing that has to be taken about the culture that has flourished in the hood, because this is bigger than us. It goes back historically. Kai, you alluded to this in your discussion of the sporting life in your novel. We'll get to that. But one way in which we contribute is, especially as young men, when we don't take responsibility for the formation of families, of healthy families. And some of us may, in our more lustful years, have children out of wedlock who we may not be able to support, especially if we find ourselves
incarcerated.
Entrenched. Yes, right, entrenched in the life of the street. When you go off to do years, you may only increase the likelihood that your child, the flesh of your flesh, may experience additional hardships in your absence. I'm so happy. Kai reminded me on the passing of my father's passing in 2011. We spoke, he consoled me, and one of the things he said to me is, Brooke, you're lucky because you are one of the few cats in our generation who had a father who was in the household with you, who was providing for, your brothers and sisters' well-being and support, who was there to love and punish you when necessary. And a lot of cats don't have that. And the important thing is that we are making choices. We made choices then, and in retrospect, we can pass on the wisdom that we've learned in those choices. And one may be for brothers especially to consider, just try to refrain from doing having children out of wedlock, and you're not there to support them, however that might work. But I think that is a contributing factor that we don't want to deny, but it's not the only factor. And that's for sure. We can address those as individuals in our lives because we have control over who we sleep with and whether we impregnate young women. Factors that we don't have control over that may require institutional involvement are things like the economic opportunity that are available to young people. There's no doubt in my mind that the turbulence that I experienced in my family when my parents were going through a divorce in their time, in combination with that forced me out the crib. One of the reasons I more readily turned to the streets is because the economic opportunity was not really there. It was, Kasheem, you're absolutely right. Listen, it was there. I could have got 1,000 jobs, but those weren't jobs that were readily provided for, my needs. Couldn't have readily put a roof over my head, some groceries in the fridge. It's been tough, but I realized afterwards, after being locked up a couple of times and not wanting to do the extended bid that y'all did, that, I better seize on whatever opportunities are really available to me and also try to find a way to make myself more eligible for better paying jobs. And I think we can't deny that. But our leaders, our elected officials should know that if we ever want to hope to, curtail some of this violence and what's going on and the life of crime that goes on in the hood, then we must find new ways to expand those opportunities for young people to attain independence at what is considered the traditional age. If you look at it historically, the jobs that were once available, especially for those who had limited education, by which I just mean a high school degree, were much easier to get access to and provided a path to the middle class in ways that are far less likely today. I'll give you an example. Todd knows it. My grandfather graduated from Accomack High School down in Accomack, Virginia, came up to New York. And in 1954-55, when the Civil Rights Movement was at its height, he was fortunate enough to get his foot in the door at General Motors. This is true for AJ's people as well. My grandfather when he passed away, not too long ago, he had attained the material dimension of the American dream. The likelihood of that happening for today's young men who have the same education credentials as him, just a high school diploma, is much more limited. And that's something that our elected officials can possibly do something about. I share your skepticism, Kai. I mean, that's an activist.
Listen, bro. I'm not being skeptical of what you're saying. Listen, I'm wary because to me, it's the same tried and true marching orders. You understand? We're looking for someone else to give us some money, to put up some programs, to do this, to do that. That shit ain't never worked. It ain't never worked. It's never gonna work, right? Because it's not attractive to the kids. The people that we're trying to reach. Okay, so like Devon said, we don't glorify any of this, right? So, but why are we talking about these individuals? Why are we not talking about the valedictorian black kids? Why? Because you know why? They're not the squeaky wheel. They working the right way. The squeaky wheels are the kids that's out there on the streets, so they getting the attention. That's the one that they're the ones that need the oil. So we're trying to figure out which oil works best because we don't want the noise because the noise is what's doing all this. You understand? You can follow my analogy. Make sense?
Yes, yes.
So this is why we're talking about these kids. It's not glorifying it, but they're the ones that's in trouble. Now I'm saying to you that the system is not designed. It doesn't give a fuck. It doesn't care about fixing it. It ain't. It's not going to happen that way. It only is going to happen through the same method that made Rosewood and Black Wall Street what it was. Black people fixing their own problems. Or should I say minorities? Fixing their own problems. And the only way to do that is to, right? Get back into these communities and let these kids know that, yo, being a criminal is not a legitimate lifestyle. You're a criminal. That was never meant to be something that you can glorify. Running around talking about how much niggas you done killed and who you done robbed, and that ain't no glory in that, bro. You going to jail. That's where you going. And the community has to start locking these niggas up. That's the fix. Don't hide these niggas. They say you can't save them. You can't go talk to them. They're going to pull a gun on you. They're going to tell you, yo, so guess what? When the community starts saying, no, we don't glorify that shit no more. You're a criminal. I don't want to hear nothing about your car, your fancy cars. I don't want to hear. If you can't do what you're doing in the light of day, nigga, keep that shit at night and don't be mad at me for calling the fucking police on you because I go to work every day and pay my taxes. We have to stop glorifying that shit. You understand? When these niggas start putting masks on again and hiding their faces and stop being proud about being criminals, we're going to see some changes. But as long as it's my cousin and his homeboy and them, and I know they just caught a body last night. They killed some people that didn't even deserve to be killed. And I know it's them. You understand what I'm saying? But I ain't giving them up. You understand? We got all that shit going on. So when the retaliation killings come, they kill me and my family because it was retaliation for shit my cousin did. No one's giving them up for that. So where the fuck do it end? We got to all determine what the fuck is the law and who's allowed to follow the law. You understand? It can't be the dudes with guns. Because if it was niggas with guns, then white folks would really have us in a bind because they got all the guns. So we've got to determine what the law is and determine what laws we're going to respect and determine if these niggas is criminals, then you belong where criminals work. I was never mad when I was put in jail by somebody who went to work. I'm not going to go kill him for what? I'm a criminal. This is what he supposed to do, lock me the fuck up. At least when I grew up, I understood those lines. Now these niggas is calling you a snitch if you go to work for a living and you see a crime and you tell them you a snitch. What the fuck is wrong with you dumb motherfucker? That's why I can tell you niggas ain't got no education. You can't figure out A from B. You don't know what the law is and what ain't the law. You chose to break the law and now you mad at somebody who ain't breaking the law. And you want to go kill them for following the law. Are you serious? If everybody played by rules, all your rules, your mom and father would have been dead before they had you.
Yo, real talk. And just so you know, I'm never one to advocate, that whole looking for somebody to save us. We got to do that ourselves. Matter of fact, Matter of fact, ain't nobody gonna help you if you ain't helping yourself. First off, that's and secondly, about the whole snitching thing, yo, a lot of these cats that's out there now, because a lot of the real cats went to jail. A lot of the cats that's out there now is teaching these kids the wrong thing. If you're not living by that code, that you're doing something illegal every day, and you living by that code, then and you're a regular dude and a civilian. That's not called snitching. You know what I'm saying? Like if me and Divine go and we do some dirt together, and I get caught and I tell on him, that's snitching.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But you people that don't live by that code, that's not snitching. They're not about that life. You know what I'm saying? That's not.
These niggas ain't got no code. Ain't no more code.
I know.
They ain't got no code. They telling as soon as the handcuffs get on. I was in prison with these niggas when they came in. As soon as you ask them for paperwork, their lips turn white. Because they're around niggas now that's gonna call them about their hands. Where your hands at? You ain't got no handman here with you now. You was out here banging. Now you coming in, you can't shoot. What's wrong with you? This is why these niggas need to leave that shit alone, man. Because they ain't built for it. 99% of them is not built for it. They just got these guns because the guns are prevalent and they are so afraid of a fight, they're gonna shoot to kill. And they'll kill 6 niggas to cover that up. But as soon as they get in the county jail and they run into a nigga that did 1,000 push-ups, they scared to death. Because they never learned how to defend themselves. That same nigga that killed 4 or 5 niggas a bitch in jail.
A bitch.
Seriously, and this is not a game, and I ain't saying this to be funny. I'm telling you some real shit. Being this man that did plenty of time, I'm telling you this. I grew up fighting. Divine grew up fighting. Bob grew up fighting. AJ, you got to grow up fighting. There wasn't no guns. No. So this is why we could call each other gangsters. Because we knew niggas who would fight. No hammers, nigga. We cut each other. We give it up and give it up every time we see each other, whatever. You understand? So when we saw each other later in a situation where we was locked up, I can say, man, that nigga give it up, man. He ain't gonna run. Matter of fact, man, we gonna rock out together. You understand what I'm saying? But these dudes now, it's shoot first, and now they got a reputation. What reputation? You catch him right and knock him out. He's still that soft-ass nigga that you knew back then. You understand what I'm saying? So we gotta stop this shit, man. These dudes, man, man, listen, man.
I think that, you know what I mean? I think that a lot of times what we need to do is empower our youth in a different way, man, because the things that they think are powerful are not really the things that make you powerful. If we focus more on empowering the kids with their own shit, you in charge of your own life, nigga. We're going to let you be the one to... Listen, I work at Lincoln Hall, right? I work with at-risk teens. I've been there for about approximately 10 years now. You know what I'm saying? So I see these kids come in. I see how they are. I see how they are when they're alone. I see how they are when they're in groups. I get to talk to them on several different occasions. I get to build with them, rap with them, take them off prop, get them to introduce. I introduce them to things that they never would be introduced to in their own life. Like bringing kids down here from Buffalo, Syracuse, Troy, in that area, and letting them see the George Washington Bridge, or take them to the Empire State Building, or something that they only would ever get to see on TV. Even New York City police cars fascinate them. You never know what kind of conversation you can strike up with these kids. I also work in Harlem. I work at a place called Exodus in Harlem with some residents that they're not residents there. They go home every night, but they're a little older and they're more in the world, whereas they have jobs, some have children, some have, you know, some are way more intelligent than we give them credit for. I have learned things from our kids. Like right now, a lot of our kids are online making money that we don't even know. They online making bread that me and you used to go to the street and rob niggas for, bro. They making this online. They teaching me Bitcoins and stuff like that. So all our kids are not disaster stories. Not all of them. And those are the ones we do it for. Those are the ones that we wake up every morning ready to go do this again. Because like I said, I work at Lincoln Hall. I work with at-risk teens. And this is not a job where you get rich. Right. No one gets rich in this field. So you got to have a passion for wanting to see the good part of our kids in order to even have the mind frame to go back every day.
Yeah, but the problem with that is
one more moment, brother. I also see a lot of our kids that leave directly from me, directly from underneath me. I got you on the right track. that got you damn near ready to finish high school, 1 foot ready to go to college, and then you come home and get murdered. And then I got to see the body because it's right behind my house. It happened right behind where I live. You know what I'm saying? I also got stories where some of my kids have went on and gone to college. So in these streets, man, in this field, I heard, I don't know if y'all heard that 914 rap joint. If you didn't, you need to hear it. 914 is on the map, boy. One of the rappers said, in this field, man, I done lost some and I done won some. And that's what we do here in this field. He didn't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in this field where we have to deal with these at-risk kids. We win some and we lose some. We do it for the ones that we win. That's for the ones that keep us coming back every day. I can't focus on the losses, bro.
You know, I have to say, and it's going to take cats like yourself who lived that, who experienced that, to share that. You know what I'm saying? To do what you do. And I have to applaud you because you don't have to do that. You did your time. You could be going about your business. You can do what you want to do. But you care enough to do that. And we need more credible messages like you who care to be out there like that. And we need to empower the ones that are doing it. Because, again, like you said, same thing with Black Westchester. I'm not getting rich off this shit. You know what I'm saying? Giving information to the community. It's a labor of love. But you know, you care enough about the community to put in that work. You know what I'm saying? And you're driven by that. And we need to empower you and the cats like you that are doing that. So when these elected officials is giving up this money to these programs that ain't doing shit, one of the things I'm trying to do is make sure they trickle down to the dudes that got the boots on the ground for real. Because those are the people that need it, so they can continue doing that work. You know what I'm saying? So that's I just wanted to say I want to switch a little bit. I know we talked about what you used to do. You talk about what you went through. What now? You inside now. What was it inside that translated into what you're doing now? You know what I'm saying? I want to talk about the transformation now.
Yeah. Well, again, for me, it was art that brought me to where I am now because I started out doing plays. I had got introduced to doing plays, rehabilitation through the arts. Shout out to my brothers and sisters, my alums. You know what I'm saying? Rehabilitation through the arts. I was in Sing Sing, and they was doing plays in there. I wasn't really too interested at first. However, I got trapped in the auditorium because I was trying to get to the yard to take care of some business, but it was rainstorming and he closed the yard. So I got trapped in the auditorium and I watched the play and it blew my mind. What really blew my mind was when I realized that some of these brothers up on the stage were prisoners. They was in prison. I thought when I first saw the play, I thought everybody up there was an outside guest or something. Then I started looking at the play and I'm seeing, yo, hold up, I see this dude in the gym. I be seeing this dude in the yard. These are prisoners up here and they putting on a Macbeth play. And you got females up there and the first, I was attracted to the females also. I ain't gonna front. I want to be around that. You know what I mean?
Why wouldn't you be?
I like it. But anyway, I get up on stage and you know what I'm saying? I get involved with and I started being and having conversations with individuals that normally I would just walk right past this dude in the tunnel, man, son, because this lame ass nigga right here, man, he ain't even on my level, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing all these things, and this well, in conversation, I get to know this dude, and I get to know this ain't no lame dude. This is a whole human being right here with his own experiences, his own life, and I just dismiss that. When this is what we do when we walk past one another, don't greet one another, we don't acknowledge one another. When you don't do these things, you don't only do the individual that you pass a disservice, you do yourself a disservice because you don't get to interact, you don't get to experience. You can experience someone else's life just by them telling it to you and learn something. Learn from a mistake they may have made or learn how to do something that you was fascinated with learning how to do. But if you let that experience pass you, you do yourself a disservice. This is something I had to learn. And art was one of the things that brought me to this realization because in art, the type of art that I chose and the type of art that my brother Carl chose is storytelling. We like storytelling. We like to tell stories. whether it's somebody else's stories, our own stories, and the purpose of storytelling, like I said before, was to heal. So through our storytelling, we got to heal some people. Now, while I'm back here doing these plays, everybody involved with doing the plays are in the college program. So in the downtime, they're having conversations about their schoolwork. And being that, I've been in the Nation of Gods and Earth since 1978, I know a few things. I study regularly. I know my lessons and I know how to study history. So I could join in on these conversations. And a lot of times, I disprove a lot of their facts. And they was given an entry exam into the college program in Sing Sing. And a couple of my brothers dared me to take the entrance exam. So I go down there, I take the entrance exam, wind up blowing that out the water. I get the highest score in the room. Now I got to go to college. Now I'm in college, I found out I got a passion for that too, for learning. I got a passion for learning. So for me, it was the arts plus education, plus furthering. These are choices that I made as an individual to join up, to want to better myself. And once I started going out in that direction, there's a saying that we created. It says that once you learn something, it's very hard to unlearn. So once you know better, you learn better, you have to do better. So that's why I'm a strong advocate for educating yourself and to get these youngins to educate themselves, because there's a power in education. There's a strength in education. And a lot of times what they don't realize is that being an educated individual, you do not have to lose your swag. This is a message directly to my youngins. You do not have to lose your swag just because you get educated. You don't have to stick your pinky out when you sip your tea or cross your legs with your knee like a little girl. You don't got to do that just because you're educated. You can use your words to express your point. Stay genuine and stay true to yourself. That's all you got to do. Education is going to wrap around you. You don't have to conform to it.
Right. So often, I think at the level of the culture that we're all a part of, that hip hop has played a leading role in, the ideal of manhood that's held up for us is one that's real dichotomous. I mean, either you are a smart kid or you had street game, but the two would never really meet. And at least in the cultural imagination,
right,
it's very hard to combine those things. Now, one thing I have to say that both of y'all are 5%. And although I myself am not a 5%, I was part of the cipher. Many of the ciphers that was held in the streets of Mount Vernon. And not only did it provide a surrogate family for a lot of cats at a time of transition, 16, 17, 18, but one of the real things that really stuck with me and actually, inspired me to become a professor was the emphasis that was placed on the importance and centrality of knowledge and self-awareness. And, for me, that value is one that I think serve people who are 5% or exposed to 5% well, that may in fact be missing. And so your point is well taken, Devon. I would, I'm Dr. Bob sometimes, but I'm Brooklyn Bob too. And I share my stories with my students, and the actual lived experience that I had before I became a professor, as a way of trying to highlight to them the possibility that it is, or the fact that it is possible to combine those divergent elements. And I wanted to say, Devon, so often the street's going to reinforce that shit. Because you can't be soft on the streets. You can't definitely be soft in jail. You can't show the more compassionate side, the humanity. One thing that I remember, man, being on the streets, I've always been a nice guy. Even on the streets, I was a pretty nice guy, actually. But I would imagine that for both of y'all, one of the ways that the arts helped, in your self-transformation is it gave you the space to experiment with aspects of the self that too often we're discouraged from developing and exploring. To greet someone with respect, with solidarity, with love. You know, even like how we changed. Kai, this happened really when you came home, man. Like around that time, brothers would start greeting one another and giving one another a hug. And for me, that was a profound change in mannerisms alone. Because up until that point, I'd not really experienced brothers, you know, show any real kind of affection for one another,
Right.
love for one another. You know, we was all trying to be super hard all the time. And so I'd imagine that the arts allowed you, this is what I imagine of Divine, that the arts allowed you to experiment with some of the characters that you portrayed on the stage, allowed you to experiment with some of those parts of yourself that the culture that we were raised in, the culture of the street, so often discourages.
That's a fact. In fact, you know how hard it is for an individual to cry in prison. That's like forbidden for dudes to see you cry in prison, because that's a red flag. That's a automatic attraction, like blood in the water. You know what I'm saying? However, on a stage, when I'm playing a role, I'm allowed to cry. I'm allowed to share this experience or this emotion with everybody in the room. And in doing so, it gives everybody in the room permission to also touch on and feel that emotion, if only for that moment while you're sitting in that chair. And you never get to do it again your whole bid. But for this moment in this chair, you have permission to touch on that moment, touch on that emotion that you don't want to touch on in public, the one you don't want everybody to see. We've been in prison before, Kyle. We know about throwing that curtain up and looking in that mirror and crying to yourself because whatever reason, somebody died in your family and you can't go to the funeral, or whatever reason, you threw that curtain up and you cry in the mirror to yourself because you don't want the rest of the jail to know. But in that moment, when you sitting in that chair and you see me on stage and I'm crying because I lost my daughter, or I'm crying because my father just died on me. In that moment, you have permission to touch on that emotion. And that's what I mean by the theater is meant to heal. The arts is meant to heal people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, Kasheem, I know you're a writer. I'm a writer. I know writing is therapeutic for me. Like writing is mad. Like writing has always been therapeutic. I know you got at least one book, some books. I know you got into that. I want you to talk about your transformation a little bit. Share that with the people.
Okay, so you don't really know yourself while you're on the streets. You don't really know who you are when you're out here living that other lifestyle. We born one way, right? And then you're shaped by your circumstances. Because you're not born complete. You're born and then you're forged, right? So we're forged pretty much by our circumstances. So my circumstances forged me. And just like Divine said, crying, I don't even know how to cry. If I cry, it has to just happen like, I didn't even know it was going to happen. Because we suppressed our emotions for so long. It ain't even faking when you don't do it. Now, my journey, my transformation, yeah, it took place through writing, yes. No. It didn't take place through writing. Writing was a part of the struggle that I could do it. There was always a nagging that I had the ability to do it. You know, I always heard, you write good letters so you can write. But I never knew that I could be a creative writer. Now listen, it's very important, the point that I'm making, because it goes back to what I said in the beginning. And I always wrap up everything that I'm talking about, because I want to be clear that you know that I know what the hell I'm talking about. I said to you in the beginning that all of it, every bit goes back to the foundation, right? How we giving, what we giving. If it's not made attainable, if our dreams ain't made attainable to us, then we have to discover them by accident. And this is what's happening with guys like me, Divine. We discovering this shit by accident in prison when we ain't got nothing else to do but think about who the fuck we are. Because that's never been posed to us when we was out here when that question was relevant. Who do you see yourself as? Who do you see yourself as becoming? Who are your role models? Who do you look up to? Who do you say, damn, if I could do it, I would do it like him? Right? Like, if those things are not made attainable to us, then we just gonna keep stumbling. So I stumbled upon my ability to write. Now I know for a fact, had I been shown the road to writing while I was out here, I'd be exponentially successful. But to stumble upon that in there, and then to still try to figure that shit out on your own, it's like you stumbled upon a diamond, but you don't know how to clean that shit up, so it still looks like a piece of coal in your hand, or a piece of coal. You understand what I'm saying? That's what talent is when you ain't got the opportunity to show it. That shit is dead. You know what I mean? Niggas out here is talented. That's why I don't talk about street shit, because it's not important, because all of us have that. But show me the guys like Dr. Bob, who's made something, who came up and said, yo, I went and studied and I became a doctor. What? Holy shit, how you do that? That's impressive to me. And I say that all the time. So yeah, my story is kind of important because I did some writing out of it. And I got some skill. Seriously, I got some skill. Could I tell you writing can save somebody? Listen, the only thing that can save us is every one of us got to take a look at ourselves and find out who we are and who the hell do we see ourselves as being. If you see yourself as this thunderhawk and I'm just this nigga that's born to kill, then don't be upset when people take you down like a rabid dog. Anyway it comes to you, and your family shouldn't cry and act like you was the best dude in the world because they was benefiting from your treachery. We just got to look in the mirror, man, as black people, man, and really decide who we are, man, and so that our kids don't got to take the journey to prison to discover themselves. You understand? Because really, when you discover yourselves in prison, you realize how much of a jackass you've been your whole life.
That's a fact.
Always there.
How much you got played.
It was always there. So yeah, I wrote a book, Undisclosed, The Page Turner Story. It's a great novel. It's probably better than most of the shit you reading off the shelf now. And I ain't talking about none of y'all, but I'm talking about people who go spend their money to read it, who are inclined to do some reading. I've seen the trash on the shelf. I've read a lot of it while I was in prison. It's what compelled me to write. Like, what? People selling this shit? Yeah, people actually publishing this nonsense and getting paid for this? This is what they call writing? So, okay, yeah, I can do that. I do that and just letters trying to get up on a chick. So yeah, I crafted my ability based on mimicking what others could do because no one taught me how to formally write. I didn't go to school for it, right? I crafted my ability on mimicking, which is what most of us do in these streets. We see a nigga that's tough and we say, oh shit, I want to be him. You understand what I'm saying? But if we can channel that energy into something else while we still young, while it still matters. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? Because most of us, we don't have, we got options. We have the ability to choose, but youth robs us of the ability to make good choices. We're not yet intellectually equipped because we haven't lived long enough on the planet to have accumulated enough experience to have what we call wisdom. You understand what I'm saying? Wisdom comes after you've survived a while. After you done been through some shit. You understand? And then you've accumulated some years of that shit, then you can say, yo, you know what you're telling me played out before me 2-3 times already. So I can tell you right now, 2 of the answers is wrong. Don't take that one. Take this one. Now, if you listen to me, you can skip the road that I went through to find that shit out because I just gave it to you on a silver platter. You understand? So again, we got to make this shit attainable. We got to get out here and show these dudes how they can become electricians. Show them the programs. Yo, bro, come on. Here, forget all that. This is not a dream. I can sign you up. If you want to get off these streets, I can sign you up, either switch neighborhoods, get you out of this neighborhood, send you to upstate where you ain't got a bank. Take that shit off. Sign you up to a program that's going to teach you how to be an electrician. Get a CDL, all that shit. If you can make this shit attainable to these kids, then my message become irrelevant because they're going to say, I ain't had to go to jail to learn that shit. No, nigga, stupid. And I'll appreciate that. I will, because I was stupid for going to prison. You understand? And any nigga who think the answer is in prison is a goddamn fool. All you doing is, if you survived that shit, all you did is wasted your youth. So all you niggas beating down the prison door trying to get there, you understand? Like you think you're gonna get some props. All y'all need to be told y'all are fools. Y'all are fools. Y'all chasing the wrong dream. That shit ain't it, man. Hanging on these corners ain't it. Hearing my story
Never
about
was. It never was. Even when we was doing it, it wasn't it. When did it become it? Because it wasn't it.
Man, just listen, man. Listen. Follow the real program. The real program is this. I got to get at least a high school education or a GED to become relevant. That's fact number one. Number two, we living in a technology era, so I got to get some credit. So instead of worrying about cash, I got to build up my credit card. Nigga with a stronger credit got more ability to get cash more than me. You understand what I'm saying? Because they'll loan him some money because he's shown the willingness to pay it back. That's what credit's about. Borrowing some money up front, getting it on the arm, and showing the ability to pay it back. While you niggas are celebrating, beating the plug. See, you celebrating treachery. You understand? You glorifying everything about us has become treacherous. We ain't even respecting honor no more. Half of the people that dislike us don't dislike us because we black. They dislike us because we treacherous. But we scream racism now about every goddamn thing. Yo, that's a racist. He's a racist. How about they don't like your ass because you just treacherous? How about that? You understand? How about if you showed some quality about yourself, some respect and honor, like these dudes out here glorifying, I'm fucking your baby mama. What the fuck honor is there in that?
Where is
That's
that?
That's somebody's child. We don't have no honor no more, bro. And if we ain't got no honor, then everything is no good. You understand? We got to start respecting each other. If somebody say they married, yo, that's off territory, bro. She married. I don't care if she's not happily married. That's their business. Am I in a happy relationship? Because if I was, I wouldn't be chasing her. You understand? So who am I to define what's happiness for someone else? We have to start having honor in our community. That's the message these niggas need to hear. It starts from the hood. What happened to mothers could come to the communities, come home safe at night? What happened to aunties being able to come home safe at night? These niggas is preying on their own community. We ain't got no messages for them but lock these niggas up. Get them the fuck out of here. So then we can really concentrate on the dudes that's trying to do something. We ain't got time to waste time with messages no more, bro. We tired of talking. These dudes ain't hearing that wisdom. They not hearing it, man. You understand? So I don't have no message for them. If you really want to hear something, get your ass off the corner. Get off the corner, man. There's jobs out here. There's opportunities. You can change your life. You really can. It ain't defined yet. It ain't. It's only defined by your ability to think outside that goddamn box. Take a chance on yourself. Invest in the fucking military, if nothing else. They'll teach you how to be some fucking body. Take their knowledge and come and do something for the community. And half of you niggas are celebrities. They got all this money. They keep talking about y'all investing in your community. And y'all ain't doing shit. Half of you niggas turn around and give back millions and millions of dollars to these alma maters, which are these white schools that you went to that would have never took you if you wasn't talented. If you really wanted to give back, don't get that $1 million to your alma mater. Take that million and say, yo, go build a black school in my community so that these niggas ain't got to go there so that they can graduate from there. And they can turn around and give endowments to that school. But no, they ain't doing that either because most of them, they just like to talk. They like to live on the sidelines of this shit. But us in the trenches that realize this shit, we don't even want to talk the truth. But when these niggas here, yo, lock these niggas up, they say, what the fuck he talking about? Huh? What I'm talking about? I chose to break the law. It's called the fucking law. How can I expect everybody to be down with that program? That ain't the program, bro. The program is the law. It may not be fair for us, but there's other ways that we can go about it than preying on our own people, robbing our own people. Every time you turn around, you talking about a brother that killed another brother. You got the sign of Black Lives Matter, but to who? Not to these niggas. It don't matter to them. It only matter when the police kill one of us. Then we supposed to march? Man, if we marched every time we killed each other, ain't none of us had no sneakers on.
Yo, I want to.
Bob, go ahead.
I wanted to say that I think one of the keys that we should really take from your comments just now is that it's very important for us to consciously embrace a set of virtues by which we measure our own life. And one of those virtues has to be a sense of compassion for one another, but also another virtue is we must take responsibility. We're never going to change if we don't take responsibility. Because if we recognize where we have contributed to our own downfall, then we also realize that there's something that we can do to change it. None of us here. Yeah, I'm not talking about you, AJ, because I know you didn't get locked up, so not really you in this instance. But any man or woman who has gone to jail and had to transform their life, the first step in that was embracing the virtue of responsibility for our own conduct and our behavior. And I agree with you 100%, Kasheem, that it will do us little good. We do not realize as a people and as individuals that we must take responsibility for our own behavior.
We just have to determine what law is in our community. What does the law look like in our community? We
right,
have to determine
and to abide by those
anarchy.
Those basic rules. Because listen, no one better. I don't want no one knocking my moms upside the head or my aunt. My people have worked hard for what they've gotten, and I don't want them to be preyed upon.
All right, so bro, here's the deal. Seriously, all of these organizations, civil rights organizations, activists, you need to spend more time in these fucking local police departments. For real. Because that's how you're going to bridge it. When you're going in there on a daily basis and they're saying that, yo, listen, not only are we saying we're not going to tolerate you killing them, but we're going to help you get some of these niggas off the streets.
Right.
Because they don't belong here. They savages. They are really savages. This is how they define themselves. That they're the demons. This ain't no political shit. I don't care nothing about politics. This is why I'm speaking the way I speak. Because I don't clean my shit up for none of that. I ain't listen. They ain't giving me enough money to clean my shit up yet.
We ain't giving you no money for this.
Some money. You understand what I'm saying? This is how we talk out here. So if y'all want some money, give me some money. I'll change all this shit. I'll put a tie on. I'll play the game. But if you want it raw, then this is what it is. Half of these niggas don't belong out here. They running around with guns on themselves. They shooting out because they scared. You understand what I'm saying? And if we ain't trying to get these niggas off the street, then we're part of the problem too. We're part of the problem too. Because we glorifying this shit. Why do you open up a business in a black community and before you got the sign up, 20 niggas is hanging out in front of your store every day like they paying rent? But you go down the block in a white community across the bridge, you won't catch a nigga hanging out in front of not a white store. So why do we tolerate it in our communities? Nigga, get a job. Do not bring down this man's business hanging out in front of his store so now people can't even patronize the store because they scared of you niggas in the front. Why do we tolerate it? Why do police tolerate it in our community? Why? Because they know the citizenry tolerate it. In white folk community, they ain't tolerating it. So police got to earn their goddamn money. Ain't nobody going to hang out in front of their stores and bring down their businesses. They ain't paying no taxes on them businesses. But every time you open a store in one of our communities, 20 niggas adopt it as theirs. They start selling drugs right in front of your store and expect you not to say anything. So when stores and shit don't invest in our communities, we say because they racist. How? When we ain't cleaning our shit up. Yo, Black Westchester, let's talk about cleaning up our shit, man. And that's some real shit. It ain't about all the time these dudes need jobs. These dudes need opportunities. Some of these niggas belong in jail because that's where they find themselves at. They don't hear it when you're talking to them no other way. I didn't hear it. Divine ain't hear it. We found ourselves in prison. You understand? So sometimes that's where these niggas belong to find themselves. And then Jesus can rise up out of their ass. You understand? That's some real shit, man. You can't save all these niggas out here, man.
The reason why I eventually stopped selling drugs was precisely because I was threatened by a judge on my last arrest that if I appeared back in his courtroom again, I would be going upstate. That's the reason why.
Man, we glorify these niggas too much. Even the activity niggas be going out to these niggas, these hood niggas treating them like they dons. Nigga, you ain't no don. You a fucking criminal with a gun on your waist. You don't belong out here. The light of day ain't supposed to catch you out here because you're a criminal. Ain't no glory in that shit. You ain't no OG nothing. You understand? I don't want to be nobody's OG.
Hell no.
I want to be the parent of my daughter. That's it. I don't want to be nobody's OG. Don't call me for no fucking shots on the block. I know where that shit take you. That's hell, man. We tried to climb out of hell. We got to start seeing these niggas for what they are. Nigga, you an old nigga that stayed in the game too long. You only in it because these niggas glorify you and throw a title behind your name. If you was really somebody, you take that shit off and call yourself something that means something. So these dudes don't think there's no glory behind no OG nothing. Ain't no OG shit, man. You understand me? I'm serious, man. I don't like none of this shit that goes on, man. We got to stop talking about like these dudes is somebody. These niggas ain't
I
no
know you
superhero.
don't, brother, because you and I have had this conversation many, many a times.
These
And this
niggas
is
is
a theme
criminals,
that
man.
you repeated to me.
Criminals, bro.
The
I was a
importance.
criminal.
And I agree with you
You know my boy
wholeheartedly.
Kai, you know how my boy Kai get. He get hot under the collar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro,
the
because I don't hear niggas speaking it right. You understand what I'm saying? All of a sudden, these niggas is giving glory like, yo, you know, and I want to talk to OG Big Bird and shit. He out there and shit. And he got to, nigga, you a criminal. OG what? Because when the white folks come looking for you with the federal indictments, nigga, you don't want to be no OG. They show you who really running that block. When they come, all you niggas get low. If you was really running that block, you niggas would come to arm and say, who coming on this block? You understand? But you niggas get low because white folks run them blocks. That's really they blocks. They telling you we just let you get away with it for a while. Till you killed enough of your own kind. Now we can get rid of you before you spawn some more. You understand? So we in the black community got to understand that this shit is devised to make us unacceptable to anybody. So we got to stop glorifying these niggas. They criminals, man. Ain't no OGs in our community, man. The OGs are the niggas that's working hard, man, trying to, you know, find out where they fit in this shit. You understand what I'm saying? Not turning around, putting guns in these niggas' hands and going out here shaking these niggas' hands because they got away with murder. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Get out of here, man. Go get a job and support your daughter. I respect the niggas I see walking with their children. That's who I respect. I like when I see that. When I see niggas walking with their children, you understand what I'm saying? I respect that shit, because you don't see enough of that shit. These niggas don't claim their kids. They only start becoming fathers when they go to prison. That's when their kids become their shield. Oh, man, I'm in here, and she won't bring up my kids. But you didn't give a fuck about your kids. I got children now. I didn't have them before. And I couldn't see myself doing something to remove myself from their life. So when these niggas out here banging and got kids and they use their kids as an excuse, I got to go feed my, get the fuck out of here. If you really wanted to make a sacrifice, you go get a job. That's the sacrifice. Banging ain't the sacrifice. I got to go feed. So you go rob somebody else, you go poison somebody else, justifying so yours can live, and then you go all the fuck off. If a nigga get at yours, man, you niggas need to stop this imaginary shit and get into reality. Crime is fucking crime. If you do it, just know that it's crime. But don't expect anybody to find glory in that shit, nigga. Don't switch reality. You niggas all turn into Donald Trumps. What's real ain't real no more. You ain't say it, even though niggas know you say it. I'll tell you tomorrow, I ain't say none of this shit you heard. These niggas got some AI speaking for me. Some of you niggas believe that shit. You understand what I'm saying? No, really, bro, we gotta start showing these niggas, yo, we don't respect you because you're a criminal, bro. Because you'll kill somebody. Yeah, you can kill me, you can kill this nigga, you can kill that nigga, but I know what awaits you. That's an ugly fate. You understand? You can't kill the word, man. The word gonna come. Forget it, it'll come back and it'll come. But the point is, man, am I even wasting my time talking to some of you niggas about this shit? Because sometimes that's what it is. It's a waste of time. We got to start shaming these niggas. And these women, y'all are fucking worse. Because you accept these low-down, dirty motherfuckers knowing they ain't got no job or no ambition. And you don't recognize they ain't no good until you had two, three children by them. And then they become dirty-ass nigga. But he was a dirty-ass nigga when you picked him up. Check his credentials. Where you work at? Well, you're 9 to 5. That ain't no longevity in crime, nigga. If you give me a baby, you going? I'm not coming up here to visit your ass. You women have to stop accepting that shit. You can cure this shit. Stop accepting these thugs and start telling niggas if you ain't got a job, we ain't working together.
I want to say, because Kai, you hit on a point. I think I was reflecting on this as I was just gathering my thoughts for tonight's show. Is that it is often unacknowledged the role that women have played in, you know, the drug game, and all of us know because we lived it and we know that in many respects, women are vital, if often hidden partners in the drug game specifically. And I will hold nothing against women who are involved with my brothers in particular, or with me when I was out in the streets. But I know that they played a vital role in stash houses and transporting drugs. And in many respects, you know, I think one of the reasons why a lot of guys take to the streets in order to get quick money is precisely in the pursuit of women, because in some respects they demand a certain kind of material support as an expression of love, as an expression of their value as women. And to go back to the stage, I think it's in Lysistrata or something like that, ancient Greek play, I think, where the women go on strike because the men in Greek society are perpetually engaged in war. And as a way of trying to force these men, coerce men into doing better, they withhold their love until you actually live up to an ideal of manhood that is something bigger than providing and supporting me as a woman. Now, I'm not going to paint with a single brush, because there's many different types of men. There are many different types of women, and we grow and change. But that's something that I think women especially need to reflect on, especially at that age, 17, 18, 19. I could just tell, I know y'all remember the times that cats was going down to Atlantic City and got their girl a Gucci this, Gucci that, and bracelets, kicks, and everything else. And the funny thing is that none of these chicks, unless they're super loyal, could ever do that bid with you. And even when they do, they ain't living on the inside with you day in and day out. They might sacrifice and go on visits. Maybe if y'all have children, they'll bring your children up as well. But for so many of us, at least the perception I got a lot of the brothers was that was one of the main motivations. I'm not gonna if I were to speak frankly, trying to get some ass is what got out on the street selling drugs.
Yeah, you got a lot of men out there selling drugs. Women did. Or the pursuit of.
And women got to own up to it. Divine, I don't know if you want to add on to that.
Well, listen, man, I wasn't really into the drug game, so that wasn't my thing. When I was out there, I had my one chick, my son's mother. I wasn't really like going around like that. I wasn't particularly popular. When we was in the streets, the drug dealers was the popular dudes. I was known as the Lobo Wolf. I wasn't the one that the girls was chasing, bro. That wasn't me. But I definitely did see that. I saw that in a lot of the women that was around the drug dealers. I seen that I seen how a lot of guys would change their whole persona for women, become something that they really aren't. I seen dudes lose their lives like that too. You wanna act like something for this chick right here and get your whole head knocked off. I seen that happen too.
Yeah, I want to shout out to your boy Mike Holtz tuned in right now.
Mike Holtz on the check-in. Yeah. I mean, listen.
Go ahead.
No, go on. I was gonna say shout out to my man Grandpa. Pop is online too. I know he checked in before. I seen him.
Okay. Yo. I want to. We are coming to the close of the show. Like for people, and this is going to be on the website, and people are going to watch. What usually happens, people watch this over and over, and some people might see this next month or something. So, like people that's feeling this, they want to holler at y'all or for what y'all are doing now or whatever. Websites, how they get in touch with y'all. Talk about the program and what you're doing, Divine. Talk about your books. Kasheem, I want you, and where people can buy it and all that stuff.
Well, I'm at Lincoln Hall working with the at-risk teens. I got a theater program. I'm also working at Exodus. I'm trying out in Harlem on 123rd, 2nd Avenue. And what we're trying to do is build some bridges between these two entities. I also work with Styles P and the Juice Bar and Successful Steps. We're giving out scholarships. We partnered up with Styles P and the Juice Bar, and we're doing some good work. We come out on different blocks in the hood. We give out juices and we give people scholarships. We give away scholarships up to $2,000 to go to any accredited college or trade school. So this is what we do in the community. You know what I mean? I'm trying to do a lot more of that in Westchester. I'm trying to get to Mount Vernon, trying to get a spot where I can come do that in Mount Vernon, a spot in Yonkers. I would like to do that in all the hoods that need it, because $2,000 for scholarships come in really handy for individuals who don't got it but really want to go to school, and that's what we're here for. That's what we're trying to do, present those, to give those opportunities to those who normally wouldn't get them.
Or even a trade, like you said, that might cover the trade. That might get you the certificate that you need to have a career. Like, those a mechanic or electrician, that's a career. Like,
that's a fact.
Yeah,
a means of feeding yourself. We're just giving out means of feeding yourself.
Devon, I also know that you've been toying with the idea and making preliminary plans, maybe even to launch a theater project in the city of Mount Vernon and the broader Westchester County. And I wanted to, where are you at in that stage? What ultimately are you hoping to accomplish through it?
Well, right now I'm in works. I'm in talks with me, Roberta James, and Mr. Grimes from Mount Vernon.
Right.
Something.
My old principal, Division C.
Yeah, we got something wonderful planned, man. We just working it out right now. Roberta's a beautiful person, and Mr. Grimes, we all know, is a beautiful man. He definitely guided me a lot when I was growing up. He's one of the men that I looked up to as a man coming up when I was younger. This is a prime example of what a man was to me, Mr. Grimes. I know he was that symbol for many others, not just me.
He was also my division principal, and I'm eternally grateful to him because he showed a lot of patience and forbearance with me when I was in high school, and very disruptive student. I also want to say, I'm happy to hear that you're working with Roberta James, even though Roberta is not on air with us. All of us who were part of that experience knows that Roberta was out there with us in her own way, and that she, like all of us on the program, have undergone an incredible transformation that speaks volumes to her determination and her character. And maybe one day she would appear on the show and have a discussion from a woman's point of view, specifically about the kind of character that one has to develop in order to experience the kind of transformation that she has. Because I know, amongst other things, Roberta has her nursing degree. She is a registered nurse, and Roberta is a real she's a real power broker in her own right. There's no way to underestimate, and I'm so glad. You know what I'm saying, that you working with her, my G, because I think she's a very important asset to have. And Roberta, like y'all, have the ear of the streets and have earned an admiration, if only not precisely because you managed to transcend, so much of the negativity that really characterized our collective lives. And I say that, of course, for myself as well. I'm not exempt from the bad or the good. So shout out to Roberta James. Kai, I don't know. Now, I do want to say something, though. And here, this is an opportunity for me to big up my man, Kasheem, Ricardo. Like I said before, Kai is like a brother to me. We've known one another since we were like 9, 10 in Sacred Heart, played on the Razorbacks together. Mike Holt, William Allen, who's tuned in, so many other cats, Rich Morales, so many other people. And, and I also am happy to say that one of the I really embodied when Kasheem was locked up was I was there for Kai. Kai needed anything, if I could, even though I didn't have much, I tried to do my best and deliver on that, because I knew so often that the code that cats are supposed to live up to, they never really, so many fall short. And one of the ways that we bonded, I watched Kasheem, I would even help him. I was his research assistant when he did his first 2 or 3 manuscripts. He did 3 manuscripts before his present book, and they were all good. I know I love writing. Although I'm a social scientist, I am a fan of literature. One of my specialties is the Harlem Renaissance literature, Black literature, the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. And as I read your book, I finished reading it just about 10 pages shy of conclusion. But one of the things that I was impressed with was not only the quality of the writing, but also the, how penetrating and how the kind of questions and issues that you raise in this book. One is, I think that all Americans can benefit from is just the question of American identity. The protagonist in the book, Honest Page Turner, is a mixed race kid trying to find a way to make it both in the hood, but also in life beyond the hood, and speaks to the kind of double consciousness. I wasn't sure how much of this stuff you was aware of when you wrote it.
Yo, Brooke, it's important you said that real quickly, right? Now listen, Black people, we have to define who we are, right? Think about this. I wrote that book because it always seemed to me that we were confused, right? Like light-skinned blacks, you ain't really black, right? Spanish, you African because you got black blood in you, but you ain't black. To black people, you ain't black, but we want you to be black when we want you to be black. You see what I'm saying? So we've got to understand that being black ain't something that represents the color of your skin. That's some shit that they handed to us to the whole psychology of slavery, the whole concept of you being defined by the color of your skin, right? So Page Turner is a message to black people that we ain't all black just because we dark. Stop defining who's black. Ain't none of you niggas know what the fuck black means. You're going off white people telling you what black means, what it is to mean black. Yeah, for real. You understand? Stop running away people talking about you ain't black. You understand? Or you can only be from this place to be considered, part of that experience. Cut that shit out.
You ain't black enough, yeah.
Right, cut that shit out. Cut that shit out. There is a whole bunch of us. The rape started from when they took us. It began. Yeah. So we come in all shades, with different languages, dialects. You understand? We got to start understanding just who we are. And if we start understanding who we are, we can start working together on a mass and collective basis. We can understand the question of a Page Turner, how she could be mixed race and not really understand where she fits, because she don't fit in either race. She just fits somewhere in the middle, and that's cool too.
What's the name of the book? Where can we get it?
It's called Undisclosed, the Page Turner Story. You have to put it in like that. Undisclosed, the Page Turner Story. Get it on all platforms. Amazon, ebooks, all platforms. But listen, I'm looking for funding. I ain't scared to ask for money. I'm looking for funding because I'm trying to create an imprint called Goon Gang Press. And what it's all about is reaching back to the real talent in the prison system and giving them an opportunity to actually benefit from their talent, where they can feed their families from in there. Yeah. A real pipeline to out here to making some money, to showing them that they ain't lost, that I'll take your work and clean it up and put it out here in the voice that you mean it to go in. You understand? So any of y'all that got some funding that's real serious about that, contact me, Goon Gang Press. Yo, listen, email address, ABC Fit Camp, ABC F Camp, as in CAMP, abcfcamp@outlook.com. Get at me, RBG.
No doubt. As we come to the close of the show, is there anything that I didn't ask y'all that y'all want to speak on, or y'all want to mention or uplift or anything?
Well, I definitely want to emphasize that I feel like, education is the key to, the growth and prosperity of our youth, man. I think that that's going to be the final determining factor, because through education, they're going to get the willingness to do what's supposed to be done. Because, like I said, once you learn, once you know, there is no unknowing. You can't go back to the same point when you didn't know. So once you know better, I feel as though we all going to do better.
Yeah, that's a fact. Now, I would like to say, man, black people, raise the bar. Don't be afraid to raise the bar. We got to demand more from each other. You understand what I'm saying? We got to stop. We just got to stop accepting shit. You understand? That's why people look at the countries we come from as shitholes. We ain't presented them as nothing but. You understand? Raise the bar. Raise the bar. Don't be afraid to say that ain't enough. You got to bring more. C is I, but I like a B+ or an A. Raise the bar.
Raise the bar.
Brooklyn Bob. Oh, you got to turn your mic on. There it is. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just say, Kai, Devon, it was a pleasure having y'all on air.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you.
I hope y'all gave an unvarnished insights into what that life is really about and why we really need to reconsider the kind of glamorization that's become so central to our culture and misleads so many young people down a path that many may find it difficult to extricate themselves. And you know, listen, and that's what it is. You know, and I hope y'all have inspired some people. Needless to say, I look forward to working with both of y'all in your individual endeavors. That's one of the things I like to do.
Yeah, anybody want to holler at me, man, get at Dr. Bob. Dr. Bob can get me.
Brother AJ, thank you for having me. Thank you. Shout out to AJ. I appreciate your Black Westchester. I appreciate you having me on. Yo, Brooke, you know you my bro. Always.
Absolutely.
Yo, Divine.
Yo, love you,
know
boy.
what it
Stay
is.
up. You love you. Hit my
Say
phone.
less.
Hit my phone sometime, boy.
Say
Yo,
less.
Bob, you know I love you, boy.
Absolutely, baby. Love y'all too, man. No doubt.
Right,
We'll build.
Stay up. I'm out.
All right. This has been Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics Radio Show, episode 310. Celebrating our 7-year anniversary. And we want to thank our guests for coming through today. Thank Dr. Bob for putting this together. It's a very important conversation. If you didn't see it live, if you heard about it, or if you're watching it right now, feel free to share this because we need this to be seen by everybody in our community. You know what I'm saying? Share this, put this on your page. You can find it on blackwestchester.com. Share it. Bob, any last words?
No, that's it, man. Listen, I want to say to our viewers, I know this was probably an unusually candid conversation about what we're really experiencing in an alternate view that doesn't, make any excuses for the role that we have played in our own self-destruction, to cite the hip-hop song, AJ, that was so popular. And so I hope everyone accepts in that spirit. Divine and Kasheem have given us a lot to think about. I know that they are articulating the views of so many people who live in our communities about the kind of tolerance that we have for what is really intolerable. And I think that's one of the messages that they'd like to convey to us. I also like to encourage everyone to support them both in their endeavors. I'm looking forward to working with anyone who's going to be helping Divine to get this arts program off in the city of Mount Vernon, and not throughout Westchester. And I'd also encourage people to go read Kasheem's Undisclosed. I think it's about $12.99 or so on Amazon. I tell you, it's a great read. I finished the whole book, or just about the whole book, the past 24 hours I've been reading it. But that's it. I mean, there's other news, of course, that we could talk about, but the show is at a conclusion. I do want to just say, in 2 weeks, everyone, we will be having on Sunday, August 15th, we're going to have the pleasure of having on air with us the biographer of Hubert H. Harrison, the independent scholar Jeffrey Perry, who's going to join us on air to talk about it and prelude to his actual presentation at Mount Vernon Library on August 26th. So he'll be on air with us on Sunday, August 15th. I encourage those of y'all who, want to begin to put these kind of issues in a broader historical perspective, a scholarly perspective, to join us on air then too. And I guess that's it, AJ.
No doubt. And I just want to remind everybody to check us out tomorrow on WVOX for the Black Westchester Power Hour between 11 and 12. Shout out to Damon K. Jones, wasn't here today. Shout out to Lorriane Lopez. Check her show out with her and her brother Hector on Wednesday nights at 7 on WVOX Latin Rain. First Latin programming in 30 years. They're doing their thing over there. Shout out to our homeboys, Brother to Brother. They come on IG on Thursday nights, I think at 7 as well. I think that's it. Look out for the first of 2 anniversary issues, the end of the week. Yes, there is still advertising spots. If you are interested, please get in touch with us. But again, this is what we've been doing. We People Before Politics been giving you the real talk for the community since 2014, and tonight was definitely some real talk. And I hope it resonates with a lot of people and all my elected officials out there. I hope y'all are watching, because y'all always try to figure out what's going on. Well, you had two castles letting you know what was going on for real. And our community leaders, I hope y'all are tuned in. I hope y'all are listening. And like I said, share this. It'll be on blackwestchester.com by the end of the day. Share this with everybody. Share this with some young people in your community too. Not just Mount Vernon. Share this with some young people. You know what I'm saying? They need to hear the message that was given tonight. With that, I'm out. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 11 to 12. See y'all next week on the show. Look out for the paper by the end of the week. We out.
Peace.
You are now tuned into the People Before Politics radio show, brought to you by the good folks at
Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Check the newspaper. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Black Westchester. Check the newspaper.
Real talk for the community since 2014.